Today is Wednesday of the 15th week in Ordinary Time, and we celebrate the memorial of Saint Bonaventure, Bishop and Doctor of the Church. He was one of the most influential philosophers, theologians, and mystics of the Middle Ages. Because the mystical and loving dimension of his theology was so profound and ardent, aligning perfectly with the characteristics the church tradition attributes to the seraphim, he is known as the seraphic doctor. He also earned this title as the principal biographer and guardian of the work of Saint Francis of Assisi, who was known as the Seraphic Father. Many of the incredible things we have learned about the saints might seem like fiction, and some critics of the church dismiss them as old people's tales. Yet, this is precisely what today's gospel reading from Matthew chapter 11, verse 25 addresses. I give you praise, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, for although you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned, you have revealed them to the childlike. Yes, Father, such has been your gracious will. In other words, if knowing God or understanding the essence of life required a doctorate in theology or philosophy, Christian spirituality could be an exclusive club for a privileged few. Regarding the passage from Matthew 23:8-12, which is one of the optional gospel for today, for the feast of Saint Bonaventure, we read, "Do not let yourself be called teacher, father, or master, for you have but one teacher, one father, and one master." This passage leaves us somewhat puzzled. How else could we address the person who teaches us, the one who begot us, or the one who guides us? Saint Bonaventure offers us a clever interpretation. It makes sense only when we realize that the dignity of teacher, father, or guide belongs strictly to God. Thus, the human teacher or preacher is merely a channel or instrument of that singular divine light or power. Therefore, anyone engaged in service, whether in the church or in society, must practice kenosis or self-emptying as the model of Christian authority. Without self-denial, as we read in Matthew 16:24, "If anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself." Or as we read in the letter to the Galatians by Paul, chapter 2, verse 20, "It is not longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me." Without those conditions, there is no way for God to dwell fully within us. This is not unreasonable after all, because Jesus, being the Son of God, God himself emptied himself of his glory to become a servant, a slave, and die for humanity. Thus, for us mortals, it couldn't be at all humiliating to do the same as he did in that sense. Today's gospel concludes with a phrase that, thanks to Saint Bonaventure's interpretation, takes on profound meaning and serves us as a thought for meditation throughout the day. "Let the greatest among you be your servant, for whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted." Amen.